Joining us now to talk more about all the chaos and the concerns is Browne, who you just saw in Jessica's story. He's a political analyst and government affairs professor at St. John's University. Hi, Brian.
Good to be with you.
Nice to see you again. So, Brian, the polls have been open for more than a week for early voting. We reported yesterday more than 430,000 people across New York City have already cast their ballots. That's fewer than the 2020 general election, but higher than last year's mayoral race. So what do you think it all means for Governor Hochul?
Well, I think she was hoping for a more robust turnout in the city. And in fact, the voters outside of the five boroughs exceeded the votes cast in the five boroughs. So we know the path to Albany and the path to success goes through New York City. So that could be an indication of some support or more work to do.
All right, interesting. And her opponent, Lee Zeldin, has been running on crime. Hochul's been accusing him of using it as like a scare tactic. As you know, New York hasn't elected a Republican governor in some 20 years. So why did he campaign on that, and will it help him?
I think it will. And I think crime is certainly an issue that we see every day on the news. We see it in our social media feeds. It's something that's coming up, not just in New York City and New York State, but around the country. So he tapped into this early, and he was very consistent with this message. Now, does it carry him over the finish line? We'll see when the votes are counted. But certainly crime and the fear factor, and whether it's fear mongering or whether it's the reality, it certainly hit home. And I think that's why you saw so many people resonate, that message of crime and safety, public safety, resonate with them. And we'll see if it translates into votes at the ballot box.
Right. And usually the party that occupies the White House suffers losses during the midterm elections. But Republicans are predicting a massive red wave. Do you see a red wave coming? And what will it mean if the Democrats lose control of either or both chambers of Congress?
Well, certainly it's going to be a game changer. It's much better to be in the majority than be in the minority. Now, if the Republicans, and I do think there is a red wave coming, I just don't know how big it's going to be, whether it's high tide, low tide, or a great tsunami. I mean, we'll see when all the votes are cast, and we may not know completely if Georgia, I mean, that could be a runoff election down there. But what does it change? Certainly, it changes how the party in power is going to govern. You know, the Republicans have talked about what they're going to do in Congress. They're going to hold hearings. You know, God forbid we could see another impeachment discussion. So certainly it could be a game changer. But whoever wins, it comes down to governing. And I think that's what people want. And when you talk to people today, particularly in my class, we were talking about the future of democracy and what that means. You know, I think voters want to see more bipartisanship. They want to see more productivity. You know, and one party rule, it does not seem to be that's what people want, or at least that's what we're hearing.
And now, aside from New York, voters in dozens of states are choosing a governor today. Do you see any surprises?
You know, the fact that this New York governor's race is so close, if you believe the polls, you know, that's a surprise. And I think the fact that you saw so many big, high-powered Democrats campaigning for Governor Hochul over the weekend, you know, I think that I would not have predicted that. So I think, you know, if New York is in question, and there's a number of congressional races that are in question throughout the state, upstate, downstate, the Hudson Valley, the fact that we have competitive districts is a byproduct of the new redistricting process and the new lines, but it could also say something about the mood of the electorate. And that's what we'll know when the votes are counted.
And hopefully those votes will be counted and we'll know the results by tomorrow. Brian Browne, political analyst and government affairs professor at St. John's University. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be with you.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.